to me. There are multiple dimensions to me. I am a mom. I am a singer. I am an actress. I love to write. That might be something that people don't know about me. Mm-hmm. Also, one thing I would like the world to know, whether they get it or not, is I'm actually a very kind person. In real life. To the point where sometimes I allow my kindness to always see the good in everybody. Mm-hmm. And when I don't see the good, then y'all get the bull.
Right. I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
Push me. You know, that is my tag.
Right.
Like, hey,
right.
Tupac, my boy now.
Right. I love it. I love it. Yeah, well, just as a recap, my name is Audrey Ori. I am the founder of 13th and Joan Publishing House, and I had the privilege of meeting Destiny through one of our amazing authors. Her name is Kiera. And Kiera, shout out to you if you are watching or listening.
The best assistant ever.
And Kiera's book is about being a personal assistant, concierge, as I have told her to phrase it. And she really gets to the heart of what people need. And I think that it's important to make sure that we shout out Kiera because she's the one that brought us together, right?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Months ago, I was in DC. I cannot remember for what. And I was in DC for a book signing. And that is when I was casting for Lipstick Monologues, which is a theatrical production, a fabulous production, 14 women unapologetically sharing their stories. And so Kiera, who's also a member of the cast, said, "Oh, I know someone." So I was like, "Okay, who do you know?" So she said, "Oh, Destiny." So she told me about Destiny. Of course, she sang your praises. And then we got on the phone and I was in DC. And so from there, we've just been, moving forward. But we also made a decision that day on the phone, quick, the first day we talked, to do another project. Now, what project was that? What project is that?
Listen, that project is my book.
You said it.
Yes, my book.
Your book.
So that was so unplanned, but after talking for probably 2 hours, you were like, yeah, you need a book.
You got a story. Yeah. I mean, so do you feel like you are misunderstood?
I have been misunderstood my entire life. So it's nothing new, but not to this. I guess it's a bigger platform, so it makes more sense. I used to, Pink had a song called Misunderstood. That was like one of my theme songs. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel misunderstood.
What do you feel like is the biggest misconception about Destiny?
That I'm always angry, that I am a liar, because I am so far removed from being a liar. Like, the truth, sometimes to the detriment of myself. But I'd rather live in the truth. Right. And that people have misconception about me as a businesswoman, and they don't know the successes that I've experienced and had, and have. Right. And I think it's a few, and then the misconception of I don't share my life. There were so many things that were going on in my life, and I was operating, as we talked about, in fear, because I didn't know if my ex-husband was going to try to sue me. I didn't know if I was going to end up in court. So I operated in a lot of fear because I just didn't know. And before my son, I was fearless. Because I didn't have anything to be afraid of. Sure. Like, come with it. But now I have to be present, and I have to be in a good space, and I have to be in a good mental space, and I have to be not in jail.
Well, that part.
Because, the court system here does not play. So I can take care of my child. So a lot of things that I did, and another thing is I didn't speak a lot. I stayed silent because I always say I'm from old school, where if you don't feed it, it doesn't grow.
Right.
But that's not reality in reality TV, nor is it in the internet streets.
Right.
Because if you don't feed it, somebody else is going to make up a story and run with it. Just like I wish you had a moderator for these messages because somebody in here playing with me right now, but I'm gonna stay focused.
Yeah, so, absolutely stay focused.
So yeah, it's just it's a lot of misconceptions, but you know, people will never. One thing I did see, Felicia Rashad said, you know, if I wanted the world to know something about me, or she basically said it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, people will always have their perceptions. People will always have their thoughts about you in different phases of your life. So I can only be me.
Right. And I think, you know, the other thing is that there will always be people who are committed to misunderstanding you.
Oh, I've learned that the hard
right way. And so
trying to engage.
Yeah, the goal is never to attempt to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding. The goal is simply to be in control of the narrative, to tell it your way and to say what it is that you want to say. And the perception, you know, that's for everyone else to make their own decision. So, and part of why I started this company as a Black woman 7 years ago was because I felt like Black women did not have a space where we could first and foremost celebrate one another. Just like, you know, someone in the comments, like, instead of saying something negative, you have an opportunity to uplift another Black woman or say nothing. You know, I see people all the time who I think maybe they're not telling the truth, but what difference does it make for me to call it out? It doesn't really matter. It's not going to do anything different. It's not going to empower me in any way. And so I am really huge on Black women empowering one another. To be completely honest, as you know, as I shared with you, I'm working on my show, right? Anecdotes with Audrey Ori. And one of the topics that I'm going to be talking about is Black on Black crime. But the Black on Black crime that I'm talking about is Black woman against Black woman, because some of the worst treatment that I have ever received in my life has been at the hands of the person that I love the most, aside from my husband, Black women. Because we sometimes are so hard on.
I agree with that, and I think in some cases it may feel harder because you expect more, because it isn't your Black sister.
Right.
You expect to be treated with the same kindness and regard that you would want to treat them, or that you have for them, and so I think it stings a little bit more. It stings a little bit more when it is your sister.
Yeah, it does, and I think that we, as Black women, a lot of times, you know, we've been through so much. We've been through so much trauma. We feel like there's not enough for all of us because we're constantly having to hold on to what we have. You know, outside of even our culture, and I can say this without apology, we have to fight, you know, for everything. So it makes sense why we feel like we don't have enough, why we have to clamor. But what we're doing is not holding.
And I don't know if it's because I was primarily raised with my father, even though I have so many women that have mothered me. That's another misconception, that I didn't have women in my life. There's so many women that mothered me, godmothers, grandmothers, all aunties, all of that. So I feel like I can actually stand and bask in another woman's light.
Right.
Like, I love being around beautiful women.
Right.
I love being around big personalities and spirits. I love to pour into other women that may not even feel that they have the light that I see in them. And
yeah, of course,
that's always been something that actually is a gift of mine that people people don't know.
Right.
Is to be able to pour into other women and uplift them. And it's just really unfortunate that we have people that they really don't know how to share the light.
Right. But it is bright enough for all of us. You know, I listen to, there is in the mornings, you know, you have to start your day off with some gospel, right? Now, I might make it on into the trap by 6 or a little, but I have to start out with gospel, right? And there's a song, I know that I don't have the lyrics right, but it says, you know, if God can decorate the lilies, imagine what he has for you. Right. You know, lilies are beautiful flowers, and it just speaks to the heart of, there is enough for all of us. There's more than enough. You know, there's so much that we can't consume it all in our lifetime. And so the thing that we can do best is share.
I'm sorry. One of my, Hyla, hey, she's about to make me cry. I used to work with her, Lou, over 10 years ago. That just touches my heart.
Good.
Don't make me cry.
Good. And I see Ashley Silver on here. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Queen. Ashley. Go buy Ashley's book, everybody.
Yes.
Go buy Ashley. Ashley is killing it on Love and Marriage, DC. Killing it. Hey, yes, Ashley. So, yeah, I just, at the end of the day, I think, we just have to remember that God has more than enough for all of us. And it is about us celebrating one another, coming together. And even this, coming together to do a book. You could have, said, well, I want to publish with something, but, we're here together. And people say Black women can't work together. We can. Ashley Silver, as I mentioned, we did Ashley's book. Her book is doing amazing. She's doing amazing. Black women are working together. Black women are collaborating. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like we need to collaborate more? Do you feel like you're seeing it, not seeing it? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like, unfortunately, people naturally gravitate to pitting Black women against each other. Women in general, but especially Black women. Mm-hmm. And sometimes one or both of the women fall prey to that game. But I do feel like there are women that are secure enough, and there are more women that are collaborating than it showed. Right. I feel like there's a lot of support. I feel like some women, they try, and they've been hurt. I had this conversation with somebody recently. They've been hurt so much by situations, and they automatically see you as the experience that they had before. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It's hard to even deal with, trying to collaborate with someone because they expect for you to be their prior experiences. Mm-hmm. They automatically see something. They're like, oh, wait, that's it. Right. When it's like, no, let's communicate. Let's talk about what you were feeling, what I was feeling, what it may or may not have been. Mm-hmm. So that's the long answer to yes and no.
Right. No, agree. I think we can do a better job of sharing it and showing it. And that's why I asked you, hey, let's go live. Let's talk about this. This is obviously a very informal time to share this information. But again, it's a time where we should be celebrating being women, and the fact that we can come together. I was in the nail shop today, right? And there was and this is no shade to men. I love men, honey. I'm a married woman. I've been married for 20 years and I love men. Okay. I'm just saying that I'm definitely a girl power enthusiast. And what I mean by that is, so I was in the nail shop and I was I asked for a certain design on my nails, right? And so the man was...
nails fire, by the way. You keep them nails fire.
Thank you. Thank you. So the man, he was trying to do the design and he attempted it and he couldn't get it right. And I thought, this is really simple. At least I thought. So the lady, they sat me with the lady. And when I say, she took out her supplies and she, in 5 minutes, and it just reminded me, I was like, see, this is how women do things. And this is no shade to men. It's just that there is a gift, that we have divinely that is amazing. Women have all power. We really do. And it's sad when we forget it, because we forget, life makes us forget.
Oh yeah, life kicked my ass these last 2 years. I have forgot it for a minute.
That's right. I was just going to ask you, what made you forget that you had all power?
Non-stop trauma. And trying to stay focused on being a mom. Like that was one of the biggest goals in my life. One of the goals that I wanted to achieve more than anything in the world. Mm-hmm. And I had what I consider failed at that, years prior, 5 times with my miscarriages. And then to have my son and to go through the pregnancy that I went through and the experiences that I had while I was pregnant, I feel like no woman should ever have to experience that.
Right.
Carrying a child, or quickly after going through a divorce with a brand new baby. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I feel like I was in a haze. I was just trying to keep myself sane, keep myself together, because I had this little baby that is dependent upon me. And my ability to care for him.
Right.
And so a lot of things, I drowned out so much of the trauma and the craziness that when my family would come around, they would, like the first time my cousin came to visit me in Huntsville, she came to me and she burst into tears. And I was just so numb to all of it that I was just like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. And that was one of the things I talked about when I was doing an interview with Ty Beauchamp, was that we normalize trauma. We normalize being in survival mode. We normalize it. And it's just like, once I got out of the normalization of it and got smacked in the face with the realization of what I really was living in,
right,
then it came to, how did I end up here? Being embarrassed about being in this situation, not understanding what was happening to me, and not understanding that I had someone that was literally trying to break me, still is. And I know that this part of my life was supposed to be so heavy because I have no answers but God.
Right.
I have no answers but God.
Yeah. He will break us all the way down. You know, there's a song, Gracefully Broken, and there's been some times I was like, Lord, it was nothing graceful about this. Like, what? This is down in the valley. Okay.
It was like, he just seemed so angry and upset. I am.
I'm mad.
And I was.
Yeah. Yeah. No, understood. And I was just sharing before you came on that, you know, I'm transitioning and doing a lot more writing with movies and TV, right? And so a huge part.
You know, that's one of my first loves.
Okay. Well, who knows? They may see the book in another format. Because, you know, when you tell a Taurus that she can or can't do something, she's going to make it happen regardless.
Please do. Please tell me I can't.
Okay, right. Help me so I can do it.
Help me.
But, like, you know, character study is a huge part of it. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I write the way I write when it comes to memoir, because I'm always studying character, you know, building characters. I build these characters out so much I can pretend somebody's sitting right there and talk to them because I know what the character is going to say, right? So one thing that really stops a lot of writers is that the character, listen, it's the craziest thing that makes people not as drawn is the character doesn't suffer enough. And writing and real life, they are so tied together. That is why I wake up every morning. I love to write. So when the character does not suffer enough, he doesn't.
You got a character suffer enough.
You're right, but so it has to get to the point where it's like I can't make it anymore, right? Which I know you felt, not that you wanted to do anything about it, but you felt like I can't run this race anymore. Absolutely. Right. And so, but that is practice. It's that if you haven't made that character suffer enough, people do not have sympathy. We do not want to keep reading. We do not stay tuned. And so if you think about any of the best things that you've watched, the character has always suffered. And you're like, you know what? They're not going to make it. Always. But it's like that in real life. And that is because we have to get broken down to the point where we, like you say, there's only one answer. There's only one solution. No person can help me and I can't help myself. Right.
And all the glory goes. I used to hear these stories when I was younger, like, you know, you got to give the glory to God and I can't give nothing. I am living in that truth right now because there is no other way that I made it through this.
Right.
And I'm on the other side and seeing the old me like, oh, girl, you thought you was strong before that?
Right.
You a monster now.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So, you know, these are things that obviously get documented and shared in the book. And I think that people don't understand writing a book when you resolve to tell your story, that it is literally hard, emotional work, but you're in it. So it gives it a different type of sting. You know, it communicates a different level of severity to the reader because you're literally pouring what is happening out onto the pages. So I know that it is going to be a beautiful book. And my desire for you is that you feel a sense of healing through the writing process. That is my wish. When someone says to me, you know, I always think, what makes a book successful from our company? And for me, it's never about or never only about sales and numbers. It is about the impact, because if your life is impacted, so will other people's lives, those who read the book. So my prayer for you is that you are healed, you find healing in your writing process.
Well, for me, I received that. And one of the things that I struggled with also for a while was telling and I hate to say story because it's my life.
Yeah.
But telling the journey that I've been on, I didn't want to. I didn't want it. I didn't want this to be my story. I didn't want to be that, victim or, play on that. But it's like God took me through this for a reason.
Yep.
And it's meant for me to share, to help somebody else. Absolutely. And when I got that epiphany, I was in DC. How crazy is that?
Right.
I was in DC and it just came over me to just share. Mm-hmm. And it was my first time sharing my experiences in depth like that. And it was freeing. It was freeing. And in that moment, I was like, that morning I was listening to gospel music. I was getting my makeup done. And I was in a room full of people. Mm-hmm. And one lady walked in me and was like, "You're Destiny. And you were just sitting here crying and praising like a regular." I said, "I am a regular person." Yeah. And it just, because God kept telling me it's time for you to start chipping away at and telling this journey. It's time. And I was like, "Oh Lord, I can't. I don't want to. Right. So much." But here I am.
Here you are. And the thing is, and I tell everybody this, your story doesn't actually belong to you. I might have told you this before. It's not yours. We believe, this is it's not yours, because we all take up space here, on earth. We're all taking up space. And so we have to give something in order to be here.
No one can do it alone. No one should do it alone. We're not designed to be alone. We're not designed. I hate that. What is it?
Self-made.
What is it? Self-made. Mm-hmm. Listen, itself is God, your auntie, your grandma, your uncles, your cousin, your neighbor, your pastor. That's
all the angels.
Humanity, we're designed to stay connected. That's why everybody has went through so much mental anguish because of the lockdown. Because we're not meant to be isolated. We're just not. No. I mean, I get having your time to recharge, isolation, elevation, but that is not a consistent thing.
Right.
That's something a tool that you have to use. But when you're forced to be isolated from humanity, as much as sometimes I don't like people, right. Right. But we're meant to be. We're meant to be, because what people don't realize about me is I'm actually another thing. Here we go. I'm actually an introvert.
Yeah, I understand. Right. It just doesn't appear that way. I'm the same. Yeah. No one believes you, though.
Girl, you are not no introvert. Like,
right.
Yeah, actually I am.
No, it's just when you get back in that house, like I was supposed to go somewhere tonight, I was like, I'm not going.
Listen.